Hi everyone. The original plan today was to Zoom cook with my friend Brooke, but unfortunately she is sick. So I am going to guide you through the made up recipe that I was gonna walk her through. So Brooke went to Costco last week hungry, which is always a bad idea, especially when you live alone. And she bought a bag of frozen meatballs, and there are 140 meatballs in the bag. So, and we weren't sure what to do with all of those meatballs. So she brought over about half of the bag to me so that we can put together some recipes that aren't spaghetti and meatballs and aren't like cocktail meatball appetizers. We're gonna try and make some meal. My first thought, other than the meatball banh mi that we made last week, which was delicious, was to make little mini shepherd's pies. So that is what I'm gonna walk you through today. Hopefully it works. I have no idea. This is an idea that was in my head and I have zero clue if it's gonna work or not. So let's find out, right? So with these recipes, what we're trying to do is use what we already have and not have to go buy new things at the store. So obviously we have the frozen meatballs. I'm gonna make 4 little shepherd's pies. So I've got 8 meatballs because I'm gonna do 2 for each little shepherd's pie. I've got frozen mixed vegetables, which we're gonna saute with the meatballs and some sauces to make the filling. I am gonna add some shallots and garlic at the beginning of this cooking process for the filling, just because I had them and I need to use them before they go bad. We're actually gonna take baked potatoes. That's what these are. These are baked potatoes that I baked on Monday night. We're gonna cut them in half. We're gonna scoop out the insides. We're gonna hold those aside and make some mashed potatoes with them. And then we're gonna put the filling inside the potato skin and then put the mashed potatoes on top of that. I think it's a really good idea, but let's see if it works. So, and then Brooke asked me like, how do you make the sauce? And I was like, I don't know. But I had this idea that you could use like ketchup or barbecue sauce to like thicken up a sauce. Obviously we're gonna use the shallots and garlic and some oil to cook the vegetables in, but then I wanted it to have kind of a thicker consistency. So I am using a combination of ketchup, gochujang, and some mustard along with some onion powder and garlic powder. So that's what I've got in this little ramekin. I'm gonna mix that up. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to it and thin it out because we don't want it to be super thick when it first goes in. You want some of the juice to be able to evaporate out of it. And that'll help it like coat all of the vegetables. Listen, in my brain, this makes sense. I don't know if it's gonna make sense in practice. And then, so then what we'll do is we'll cook the filling in a skillet, and then we will put the filling into the potato halves, and then we'll put the filling of the potatoes that I've made into mashed potatoes on top of that, and then rebake them. So I think it'll work. But we'll find out. Before we go any further, I feel like we should start the oven at 350, get it preheating, and because I think that the vegetables and meatballs are gonna cook really fast. The other thing we're gonna do really fast is deal with the potatoes and get the filling out and get it mashed before we start doing all the vegetables, so that that's ready to go before we get the skillet happening. Also, let me show you. Okay, so I chopped up my shallots and garlic, and then I mixed up my like ketchup, mustard, gochujang, and then I thinned it out with some water just so it's a little liquidier. It actually tastes really good. It's very tomatoey. So I think that's gonna be good. So let's cut up and scoop out the potatoes and get them prepped, and then we'll be ready to go to the skillet. Okay. So if you have watched any of my videos before, you know that when I bake a potato, I coat it in olive oil and salt and stick it in an oven for an hour at 400 degrees. So that's how I've got my potatoes baked. I did those on Monday in preparation for this. So the next thing we're gonna do is cut them in half. And then we are going to scoop out the insides and save them. You want to leave a little layer of potato in the skin, but you want to get as much of the... Oh, I just broke that one open. Darn it. Well, it's okay. That one looks better. So I think this might have been a little easier if I had warmed up the potatoes before I started doing this, because they've been in the refrigerator for 2 days. So, you know, they're cold and kind of sticky, and probably would have helped if they were warm. Okay, I'm gonna take this and stick it in the blender with some butter and a little bit of milk and make some mashed potatoes out of it. Look at that. Yum. All right, so the potatoes are prepped and the mashed potatoes are made. So now we're going to the skillet. This could go really fast or really slow. We'll find out. I'm gonna start off with my skillet, my favorite skillet here. I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil in it. And then I'm going to add my shallots and garlic. Okay, now that my garlic is a little browned, now I'm gonna add the frozen vegetables. And then I'm gonna add the meatballs. And then once I feel like the vegetables and the meatballs aren't frozen solid anymore, then I'll add the sauce. I'm gonna lower the heat and let this cook for about 5 minutes. I did add about a 1/4 cup of water to this because the sauce was too thick. So the filling is done. Let me show you. That's what it looks like. So we're gonna fill up our little potato halves right here. And basically, I'm gonna make sure that there's 2 meatballs in each potato half, and then we'll add the rest of the filling on top. The filling in. Now we're going to top it with the mashed potatoes and then a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and then it's going in a 350-degree oven for about 5 to 10 minutes. We'll see how long it takes for the mashed potato top to get brown and crusty. Into the oven we go. I have zero idea whether those little pies are going to turn out, but one thing I do not have a doubt about is that I'm going to eat the leftover mashed potatoes that are in this blender. I don't know how they taste, but they look amazing. Look how cute these are. Right? Okay, I'm gonna make Haley try one. Hold on. All right, so you got to get a little bit of the vegetables and a little bit of the potato and a little bit of the... Yeah, is it good?
Yeah, it's fun. It's hearty.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yay, it worked!
Good stuff.
I mean, how can you go wrong with potatoes and meatballs and some vegetables? So, I hope everybody will try that. If you get some meatballs, yeah, recommended. Haley approved.
Haley approved.
I do have to tell you that one, I cooked it in the oven for 10 minutes at 350, and then I stuck it in the broiler for 5 minutes. So that's how I got that nice crust on it. I would probably add more salt and pepper to the mashed potatoes because they're a little underwhelming, and probably add a little bit to the sauce. I'm not quite sure what, but it felt like it needed more sauce. So those are my only two critiques. Good night, everybody.